A 365 project is hard. And the idea of doing something every single day for a year, if you look at it all as one big chunk, sounds impossible. The secret, though, is to break up one big thing into a bunch of little, small things. One day at a time, one piece at a time. If you focus on just the day you're in, everything is easier. There's a story about Jerry Seinfeld I've heard many times from different people before, where he practices his joke writing every day. And when he practices in that day, he allows himself to write an X on his calendar to X off the day. And so the goal being to not break that satisfying chain of X's on your calendar. And then suddenly, one day turns into 30 days. 30 days turns into 6 months. 6 months turns into a year, and so on. For day one of my Polaroid 365 project, I decided to go with one of my favorite types of film, which is the yellow and black Polaroid 600 film, which I have done a whole video about before, and I decided to try my hand at a second pack of this film. And I wanted a photo to commemorate the date of 12/31/23 as well, which is 123/123. And so I did shoot a couple of the shots from the pack a couple hours before midnight when me and my wife went on a date to go see Poor Things. And I really like how these turned out. These are double exposures. The first is of Anna, and the second shot is a long exposure of me, moving the camera really fast while taking a picture of the movie theater. So it created some cool light streaks. After our movie ended, it was around 11, so we went home to go prepare to take the real photo of the day. Happy New Year! It is currently 12:05 in the morning. It is 2024 now, and I'm about to fall asleep. I'm not gonna lie to you. It has been an enormous task to stay up this late. But we gotta shoot the first photo of the year. Okay, so the thing about black and yellow Polaroid film is that it's super contrasty, and there's it's only just bright highlights and dark shadows. So I'm gonna wear sunglasses because eye detail is hard to come by with this film, especially if the highlights blow everything out. So sunglasses will be definitely more visible, and they're cool. And after a few attempts, we finally got the shot, and I think I really liked the result. I had trouble choosing between the two of these photos. For this photo, I did something very similar, which is I shot a photo of me. I had my Polaroid camera on a tripod, and then the second photo, it's a double exposure, is a long exposure of our Christmas tree lights. So I just, again, like I did a couple hours before, the shutter, and then moved the camera really fast so that it created these cool light streaks in front of me. And overall, I think this is a good, successful day one. So the first day of January, first day of 2024, the first day of this project was complete.
But there's this family secret that the men in the family can travel in time.
The movie About Time makes me cry. I think at the end of the day, it's a movie that's about feeling grateful and appreciative of the life we are living, warts and all. I'm about to spoil the ending, but I think it's worth it. So if you don't want to be spoiled on About Time, pause this, go watch the movie, and then come back. I think it's worth spoiling for the illustration I'm about to make. Basically, at the end of the movie, the main character, who still has the ability to time travel, continues to go about his days. But once he reaches the end of a day, he goes back in time and lives each day again. Not to change the events that happened that day, but rather to savor his life, to enjoy every little detail, the good and the bad, and he's grateful for all of it. I believe 365 photo projects have a similar power. It forces you to think about your day, to pay attention. A 365 project really helps you take in what is going on with your day-to-day. And maybe you think of your life as boring, and a 365 can help you maybe even recognize that there are some interesting parts of your life that you have taken for granted. It may help you float outside your life and realize maybe your life is more interesting than you gave it credit for. With a 365 project, you're memorizing every day. You're thinking about every day a little deeper, and you're kind of living your life in slow-mo. These woods are part of my day-to-day. I drive by them all the time. But on day 2, when I was outside of my day, observing it, I noticed the coldness of the woods. The winter sun created shadows that just turned the trees into lines. But I will just say, with this photo, I did run into a big stumbling block with a Polaroid 365 project. Wastefulness. Day 1, I shot a whole pack of Polaroid film, which makes sense because it's the first day. It's inaugural. But on day 2, I shot the first photo, which ended up being the day 2 photo. But I wasn't feeling quite confident about it, so I shot 2 more shots that ended up not being that great. So I ended up going with the first photo, which means I shot 3 Polaroids on day 2, which is not super maintainable financially if I shoot 3 Polaroids a day. Shooting 1 single Polaroid a day is going to be pretty challenging. Fortunately, I at least got paid for day 3.
But here's a weird law I found today. In the state of Montana, you can get married without ever even being in the state of Montana. That's right. Montana allows marriage by proxy, which means that each spouse can send a stand-in to the wedding in their place.
I make social media videos for my friend Greg, who is a family lawyer. We have this series that we do sometimes called Weird Laws with Greg, where he talks about weird laws he finds. Maybe you remember Greg when he appeared briefly in the Miami video a few months ago. Anyways, we filmed some weird law videos and some other stuff, and at the end of our session, he agreed to be the subject of day 3. After doing so many 365 projects over the years, I have a pretty good idea of the flow of them. I can look at my calendar and see when notable things are coming up that I can photograph, so that helps me have an idea ahead of time of what to be prepared for the photo to be. But sometimes life just happens and you need to go with the flow. And with this 365 project in particular, the goal is to kind of go with the flow of life rather than let the tail wag the dog kind of thing. Back when I did a vlog for 300 Days Straight, which is a 365 project I never finished, where I had to do a video every day, although 300 days of making videos and fully editing them and uploading them on YouTube is really nothing to sneeze at. But when I was doing that project, I always struggled with the dilemma of needing something interesting to post each day. Most days, it turns out, are totally boring. So the question is, do you manufacture something interesting, or do you just pay attention and try to find the interesting things that already exist? And that, in and of itself, is an enormous challenge. The goal of this project is to tell the story of a day, or tell a story within the day. Maybe a small vignette of something that happened, not necessarily a summary of the whole day. Day 4 was the first day I managed to shoot only 1 single Polaroid. No wasted shots, no second guessing. I was in a surgery center waiting room, and by the way, I'm fine. It wasn't me getting surgery. And there was a cool staircase and a plant. And honestly, this place was probably the most notable part of my day because I just did like taxes and stuff after this. And I think black and white Polaroids are quickly becoming my favorite. I think maybe it's just easier to shoot just regular everyday objects when shooting black and white. It was my first meeting of the day, and I think that this photo was a total mood, as the kids say. And not only that, but black and white film looks really good on a rainy day. Except this photo didn't actually end up being day 6. It was the first rainy day of the year, so I thought, I'm gonna go out and find a puddle and use the reflection. So I went out and I burned like 4 Polaroids and got a photo that was okay. It was fine. I didn't love it, but I accepted it and went ahead and christened that particular Polaroid with the photo of the day caption with a Sharpie, and I was done. I even shot a photo of myself in the car, and that didn't quite end up going the way I thought. But when I got home, I had 1 shot left in the camera, and my wife was getting ready for her day, and I decided to use that last shot on her. And it ended up being so good that I bailed on the other day 6 and made this the new day 6. So day 6 is a photo of my wife, Anna. I only have 1 New Year's resolution this year. Well, other than shooting a Polaroid every day, which is to do less. Not work less hard, not become lazy, just do less. Less quantity, less hurrying, less busy for busy's sake. The reason a 365 project feels impossible is because a lot of the time we're just really busy. We're just hurrying around. Life blazes by us at a lightning fast pace and we just let it. But life is short. Being too busy not to notice the life around us is a waste of our lives. Don't break the chain. Take in every day in slow-mo. Document. Tell the story of a day. Shoot a Polaroid.
I've got sweet Earth and Homo sapiens, you don't know where your skin is. When's the